roads lead to the land of Nyamachoma. That is the park in Kitengela. For the lovers of country music, Sundowner is back. And yes, my guests are on set to elucidate more about this kind of event, what it is and why it's taking place now. Wako hapa. Kwanza tuanze with our very own Ndonye, who is a radio host here at KBC Channel 1, hosted one of the biggest shows both in radio and TV, also playing a very key role in this particular event. Right next to her is Jay the Park, who is a director and also going to be a host at this event. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you, Doreen.
Thank you.
Jay, is he relaxed now?
I am.
You are good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Breathe in, breathe out?
I am perfect.
Tuko sawa?
KBC.
Good job, good job.
Thank you.
Now, before we get to the event, let's just start from creating the context to what it is you want to talk about. And I'll start with you, Catherine. This is one of the biggest shows, and as I said, that is both on radio and TV. It's been here for a long while. Just talk to us about what Sundowner is.
Well, Sundowner is, I think by now, so everybody in this country should be familiar with the word Sundowner.
Yeah.
Anytime you mention Sundowner, everybody gets the idea that, oh, the radio show. And not just the radio show, but the evening radio show, the one that brings old, golden oldies and music from back in the day. It's various genres. A lot of people confuse Sundowner to be a country music show. It's not a country music show. Country music just happens to be one of the genres, and yes, it's prominent when it comes to the content of Sundowner. So Sundowner features golden oldies, country, a bit of pop, you know, R&B, classics, music from back in the day. But of course, the major, the uniqueness about Sundowner, the music has to be from back in the day, and then it's easy listening. It is smooth and nice, and it's not music that will get you in a hurry. It's music that is supposed to slow you down, ease you out after you've had a really busy day. And of course, we all grew up listening to Sundowner because it happens to be the oldest show on radio right now in this country. It was begun back in the 50s by the British, who were by then running this media house, which is the first media house in the country, or the first radio station. The English service is, of course, the first radio station in this country, was started in 1928. And so back then it was before independence, and whatever content was there during independence, and the British phased themselves out and brought Kenyans to handle, of course, they inherited some of the things and some of the culture at KBC, back then VOK. And Sundowner was one of those brands that stayed on, and that is why today we know it as a heritage brand, a friendly show, and a family show for Kenyans. Yes.
And a music that can be listened to by everyone.
Yes, yes.
Doesn't really say that it's basically for this type of people or this demographic. It cuts across.
Actually, it does. And a lot of times I say Sundowner is for people who really know what they want from music. People who have an ear for good sound.
Okay.
You know, they want music that speaks to them.
That's interesting. Because where does it live, all these people who listen to the likes of what we call the new music, the gengeto, the pop, and the likes?
You know, music is not limiting.
Yes.
It's not limiting. You can love different genres of music, different kinds of music. Personally, I love the music that plays on Sundowner, and that is why I ended up hosting Sundowner, is because that's where I was strongest in. Of course, I hosted all the shows in the English service. It's been a whole 25 years.
Wow.
So I hosted breakfast.
Just pause. Pause there a bit.
Yeah.
Well, this is an honor then to be hosting you.
Asante.
25 years?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll come to you, Jay.
Yeah.
But I just want to pick on something that you've said, even as you're giving us the history, and at least now we understand where we are coming from and why there's really a lot of hype, interest, and like for this event that is Sundowner, and even altogether, you know, the music from, as you mentioned, the oldies. But then why is there a connotation, just when you think about Sundowner, you think about country music, yet you've said it's not just about country music only.
Yeah. I said it's a prominent genre within the content of Sundowner. The content of Sundowner is several genres of music.
Okay.
Sorry, but country is prominent. Country music is prominent. It's a prominent genre, and yeah, it just happens to dominate. So it's an important genre.
Okay.
And Kenyans love country because I believe radio back in the day introduced Kenyans to country music, because the biggest artists that have ever done country music have featured on that station, or rather the station that was the only radio station back in the day for a very long time.
Yeah.
The likes of Kenny Rogers, Don Williams, Dolly Parton,
Yes.
and all those artists. And I believe it's like even the African culture, Kenyans themselves. If you go to Kikuyu land, you go to Kambani, you go to Kalenjin land, people love music that is peaceful, and music, especially music that you can sing along to.
Yeah.
Kenyans love to sing along to songs, and country is just the best. It's the perfect recipe for that. Because when you listen to all those country songs, it's like they tell a story. Every song you listen, which is a country song, you remember the words. It has a message.
Yeah.
If you like it, within a short time you find yourself learning the song and
Like-
singing along.
Exactly, like the
Yes.
famous Kenny Rogers cover of the county.
Oh yes.
Whether
yes.
you've been there, but it just in a way resonates. There's a part that just resonates with you.
Yeah.
Now, Jay,
Yeah.
I would say you're not as older, but this is one of those, you know, styles, genres of music that you like, and this is a part of why you are going to be hosting this event. Why country music for you?
It is honest with our clientele.
Okay.
The clientele there, we have very good clientele, mature clientele. And you see, once at the time they told us they're going to bring it on board with us, the guys were very excited. It has never happened, and Kitengela, this will be the first one. Yeah, another event for the country music. This will be the first one. So it resonates with our clientele very well. Yeah.
So is this something that, you know, growing up, just as, you know, Catherine is talking to us, is this something that growing up, it's those kind of music that you loved, or you just found yourself in between, you know, getting acclimatized to this kind of music?
Actually, growing up, I was listening to Sundowner.
Oh.
Yeah, because
So
my
you've
dad
grown with
used
this
my
show.
dad used to listen to Sundowner, so I had no choice. So like, I'm a bit familiar with Sundowner.
That's good to know. Good to know. I'm in good hands.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with Sundowner, even with their music, kind of music. So I know what they're expecting. So I'm a bit familiar with Sundowner music. Yeah.
All right. Now, let me come back to you, Kate. You just talked about earlier on how this show has been on air for a while. You're talking about 4 decades just on air.
Over
4 decades.
Over 5, I guess.
So we're talking about over 50 years. I mean, how do you sustain such? You know, when you come to media, in the media space, whatever it is that you're doing, in fact, they keep saying that always read and learn more to just continue being relevant.
Yes.
Because also, again, sometimes content or even someone, they fade with time. So 50 years plus?
Actually, you're right, because content is everything. The media rides on content.
Yes.
If you don't have content, then you have no audience. People have reason to come to listen to you or to watch you if you have something to show. So when it comes to Sundowner, you see, music has got depth. And for you to be able to sustain a show like Sundowner, you've got to know the depth. Okay. So I'm not the oldest person around. Actually, I have mentors, the people I took over Sundowner from, some who I'm still working with. A good example is John Obongo Jr. I call him the guru. We call him the wicked man. And those are the people I used to listen to when I was growing up. So what made it a bit easier for me is when I joined KBC, then I knew what I wanted. I had an idea of the music that plays on Midday Melodies or Sundowner, and I would go to the audio library and spend the whole day digging into the archives. Now, we no longer
At this point, you're already working here?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I came here, the first stop, the place I wanted to discover was the audio library. Because there are those songs that I treasured from since I was a kid, and I would have wanted to see them with my own eye, to see the record that plays that song. So I would just go to the library and requisition for artists, familiar artists, and I sit there and I listen, because it wasn't that easy. It wasn't like today where you plug in something like a flash disk or a music source and then songs just pop up. You go sit there, you requisition for records. You're physically given the vinyl records, and so you have to play them on a turntable and listen, and you have to manually do this for every song. So I tell people, when everybody is living towards the future, personally, as a host of Sundowner show, I live backwards
in history.
Yes, I have to go back, because even today, as I prepare for my show today, I still need to discover more. And you cannot, there is no end to discovering, you know, things. What I call new music, my kind of discovering new music is actually discovering old music. I have to discover that and bring it for the listener, and some of it gets very exciting when the listener tells me, oh my God, I heard that song 20 years ago. Where did you get it? So that's my kind of life.
Okay.
I don't live like in the future discovering what is coming today or tomorrow, but what was back in the day, because it's music that was made before, way before I was born, you know? So the 60s, 70s, even the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you talked about 20 years back, I just remember Dolly Parton's Island in the Stream. I'm like, this song was done even before we were born. But anytime you listen to this tune, you just find yourself singing to it.
That's why they're called the
later.
Evergreens,
Yeah.
because they're just pleasant in their own unique way.
Yeah.
It's good music that has substance. Music that when you listen, you just feel good.
You just feel
you
good.
know, there's no noise.
And it's just
the voice
easy
is
and
sweet.
nice.
What else would you ask for?
You know, something like, you do something to me that I can't explain.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, before we get to the event, and we'll get to do that as we momentarily continue this conversation, but just listening to what Kate is saying there, it just shows you that these are some of those songs, you know, whether it's country music or the oldies in whatever genre it may be, but in a way it will always have a good tune, a good melody in your ears. And like sometimes what we see being produced right now, what is lacking in terms of content from your perspective?
Wow. Way back and now?
Yes.
In terms of the music
something
content?
is missing. I think something is missing.
I think things have changed with time.
Yeah.
Like guys are growing up from old to new. So guys are going to, the time is now. Like the new music nowadays is a bit pumped up. It's not like the way guys used to be slow and easy. It's the generation. That is, people are just growing. Yeah, every day we grow. So.
But then, I mean, when you look at that, what then happens to the longevity of the kind of content we produce? Now, you know, some would say that, I mean, look at 10 years or 15 years from now, and I'm not in any way castigating these new genres that are coming up, you know, probably the likes of Gengeton, so to speak. They are fitting for this generation, or should I say for my generation, maybe. But 15 years from now, you'd listen to it and you're like, hizo nini nilikuwa nasikianga hizo masiku? You know, something like that might just come to your mind, as opposed to, as I was telling Kate, like Dolly Parton songs, Kenny Rogers, and all of these artists that you could think of. The longevity of this kind of content is where the problem could be. Yes, we are growing, times are changing, but what happens 2 years from now? Maybe
it's the content. Maybe let's talk about the content.
Yes.
Maybe whatever those guys might sing, the younger generation, and whatever these other guys were singing, the content is the main key. Yeah, you see, a country music or an old school music, you can sing along nicely. But the new generation right now, 2020, 2021, you will not get what they are trying to say, but the message is going to the young people. It's mostly to the young people, not to the old generation. Yeah. So it's a target market also. Yeah, it's a target market also. What they are targeting is not the Sundowner kind of crew. Yeah. It's the younger guys now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's where the problem is there. Yeah.
So it's just those things of we are just fixed on here.
Yeah.
Our audience is for now. It is for this moment.
Exactly. Yeah, it's for that moment.
We are good. If it's not, we did our thing. It's a done deal.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
All right. I just want us to take a very quick breather. But now when we come back, we'll now delve deeper into this event that's going to be happening on Saturday. We also know that there was a break because of COVID, 2.5 years of that. So we'll also talk about that and how you're trying to bring back the audience and more about this particular event that's going to be happening at the park in Kitengela, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, time for that break. But when we circle back, we obviously continue this conversation. So stay put. This is still Good Morning Kenya. Into the event of what we're talking about earlier on. Remember that we still are on the sports bouquet that KBC has been televising for you, and we shall also be kicking off today. That is the Commonwealth Games that are set to kick off today at of course KBC Channel 1. The games will be coming to you live from Birmingham, so stay put and stay tuned for that, which will be coming your way at least as from today. That is the Commonwealth Games. Now back to our conversation. Before again we get to the event, there's something that I want us to just touch on a bit, and this is just borrowing from what you talked about earlier, you know, Jay, in terms of longevity of the content. And as we said, I mean, Sundowner is like aging like fine wine. They say you can either age like milk or as wine, and this is just what is happening. And again, this is just largely also due to the kind of content that you know is coming out from this kind of show, or better still, this kind of events that you're holding. But I mean, since 2011, also, how have you sustained this in terms of the events that you're holding out there?
I would say it's the same reason why the audience has kept listening to Sundowner and looking forward to every evening. Is the same way they look forward to meeting again together in a certain location to enjoy the show physically together in the company of each other. But this whole idea, I think, was given force by the onset of social media.
Okay.
You see, before social media, I was on radio and I was still hosting Sundowner. So but people did not know us. People didn't know what we look like. People did not imagine.
They just enjoyed the music.
Radio was beautifully mysterious. You know, I miss those days, but of course everything has got two sides.
Yeah.
So when social media came and we all became part of it, I remember when I opened an account on Facebook, you know, before we even knew how to go about it, you know, I start receiving friend requests from people I don't know, and I try to run away from them. I decline every request because I don't know them. I don't even understand by then that you can be friends with people you don't know. So I'm only accepting those ones that I know. Then the pressure became too much.
Yeah.
And then I started accepting a few who I thought have heard that name being mentioned on radio. So with time, I gave up. Because yes, I'm the voice on the radio and people want to associate with me. I have to embrace that and accept it. So with time, the friend requests were too many. Then my friends, the limit, I reached the limit, and then people started talking to me on inbox, too many messages. So I decided to create a platform to try and run away from this direct communication to me, just create a platform for the show. A group on Facebook. So everybody, I directed everybody there and told them, please, if we want to talk about the show, let's now discuss the show here on the Sundowner group on Facebook. Now, that's when the group started growing very furiously. Now, everybody was coming up with ideas. First of all, they've seen my picture. I can see theirs. I am seeing the people I'm talking to.
So you can see each other.
Yes, now they have an idea. Oh, this is the Catherine. Okay. So after that, now demands started to come in. Okay, Catherine, now we've seen you. The mystery is broken now. We want to meet you now live.
Yeah.
Can you just spare a day? You come over here to a certain joint. We just have coffee. And you can carry some Sundowner songs you play for us there as we enjoy the company. And then the more we discussed it, the more the demands grew, the more the pressure came in, and I didn't know what to do. And so I said, okay, I talked about it to a few friends, and some die-hard fans of the show helped me to think about it, and we did the first Sundowner sunset date at Club Reminisce at Wilson Airport. We didn't have any show there, but it was a mock show. So I brought my music. I told the guys, come over, let's have an evening. But of course I was very shy, and I wasn't like in a place where they can see me. I was hiding in the DJ box, the cubicle that
You're used to the closed radio.
Yes. So I actually played the signature tune there, as if, you know, the way the signature tune plays on radio. And then everybody just felt very nice about it. And then I played music. I imagined I was on radio. So I played a show for them there. And the rest is history. It took off. After every event, like after every 1-2 months, people are like, so when are we having it again? So we decided to have the event as a quarterly event. Yeah, but of course sometimes it couldn't happen when we wanted it to happen. It is an event that will need a budget. And so, yeah, we've held it whenever we are able to hold it. Yeah, but so as we went along, the pressure came in because we were only having it in Nairobi. We are a national radio broadcaster. We are not a Nairobi radio station. So we were put to task by Kenyans from all over the country. I mean, you guys, you're just stuck in Nairobi. Us, we are not Nairobi people. When are you coming to where we are? And that's when we conceived the idea of the county edition. And just when we had done the first county edition, we did it in 2019 in Eldoret. Then COVID-19 hit. Yeah. And so we had to take a break until now. And so we are excited.
Excited for this event. You've just talked about the fact that it's not one of those easy things to do at times, and you've said that also this depends on resources. This is also what informs you holding this event matches. It needs to be, as you've mentioned, quarterly, because that is the whole idea. And so we always know finances, they just never miss as part of the challenges.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so then, Jay, how did you come on board to just, you know, collaborate and to be part of this big event?
Oh, you see, like, let me talk about the park a bit. Yeah. The park, we sell experience. Yeah, we sell experience. Once you come to the park, you experience different things. There's bonfire, there's camping, there's sunset. So the reason why we collaborated with them is because we felt like this is what they needed. And you see now with the old and the new, I don't know whether I'm answering your question, the old and the new. Now, you see now Sundowner is, they say they are better the way back. Now we want to give them an experience of where you're going to be having the stage, the lighting. It's a new experience that they're going to be having. So, and I don't know whether I'm getting to the question you asked me, why you collaborated, is because, number one, the park has that landmark of the sunset. Okay. That's why it's called the Sundowner Sunset. So it's people can come and have the sunset. And
so that's what informs the name of the event.
Yeah. They can come enjoy the bonfires, the camping and all that. There's so much to be done at the park. Like, we sell so much experience. Yeah.
So it was a question of trying to bring experience to the audience.
Exactly.
And so this is also why the park.
Yes, the park,
came as one of those places to think of and choose.
It's not away. It's not so far from Nairobi. It's like 30 minutes. 20 minutes to where the park is. Yeah.
But obviously,
I could say something about that.
Okay.
Because the event, why I came up with that name, Sundowner Sunset Date, is because now the title itself speaks to you. You already have an idea of what experience you might have at this event. You want to listen to Sundowner as the sun sets, and as you witness it, you know, that sight of the sun going down and being one with nature. So we decided that will be the theme of this event. So it's an outdoor event. We are not going to lock ourselves in a room like this one and say we are having the Sundowner Sunset Date. No.
It's an outdoor event.
It's an outdoor event. And why the park?
Yes.
I was at the park the other day because the venue has to measure up to the need, you know, the need, the theme.
Yes.
So I had to see where the park is and what the park is. And when I look at the park, I was like, this is ideal. This is it. And when I went there, of course, we've had this event outdoors, but in Nairobi. Now, when I went to the bush, because it's like in the bush, it's actually even more ideal. Because there you are one with nature. There you go to the bush and you have an appetite, even if you didn't have it in Nairobi. And then,
Okay, so the environment also just brings that feel of also what exactly we are going to be doing in this place. Okay, and we'll come to those venues a bit, because I mean, the park is not the only place you've been holding this event since 2011 when you started doing the outdoor events. You talked about Eldoret. There was a time you did it in another place. But again, back to you, Jay. Talk to us about the preparation that went into this. I mean, the event's happening on a Saturday. Catherine earlier on talked about how resources is always a challenge. Not easy to even plan an event such as this one. So what went into the preps of this event?
In terms of technical
preparation, just as a whole.
Preparations,
and also from your end,
From our end, like we are prepared for it. Like we have the sound, the stage, and all the lighting, the generator, and all. And also, what else can I put there? Like we are very prepared about it. Yeah, we are so prepared about it. Yeah, we have been doing this for like a month.
That's what I want you to talk to us about. For a whole month, what has really gone into this in terms of even just being in constant communication with Catherine? Basically, what exactly do you want to bring forth? I mean, how do you want the audience to be? Just basically, what has been happening in terms of preparation?
We have been doing a lot of social media work, networking, a lot of messaging, a lot of branding. Just to create that awareness. I think basically a lot of groundwork also, security premises and all that. I think we've done a lot of groundwork and all that, technical work, it's key, And
basically just from, ensuring that everything is in place, then we should say the audience,
there's enough
that are going to be coming.
There's security, we have good food. Generally everything is on the right track. If I may say that, is on the right track.
Okay, I hear you. I mean, the park is not the first place you are holding this event. As you've said, you have done it before in different places, even in different counties like Eldoret. What really informs the specific place that you choose? I know you've talked about environment is important, but aside from that, what more?
Okay, I've always said this to people who would want to partner with us, especially for this particular event. I tell people our audience is key. They are king. They come first. So if I'm going to bring my Sundowner fans to this venue, then I must consider everybody. I must bring people to a place where they will be comfortable. It will be accessible. Whether you are walking or riding a bicycle or driving a limousine, all of them are our listeners. We don't have a preference for a certain class of people. And I remember one time saying to one of somebody who was a potential host, and I told him, my fan is from the pilot to the Maasai gentleman herding his cattle in the plains. So I have to consider if that brother of mine in the bush wants to come for an event, he has to have it easy arriving at the location. And then when they arrive, what do you have for them? They must be able to afford something to eat. They must be able to be comfortable. They must have all the facilities like washrooms. You know, like now with COVID-19, we have to observe all the protocols, make sure everybody is safe and comfortable. There's security, there's good parking. So the fun always comes first. That's normally what I consider.
So those are the first things you're thinking in your mind before you actually decide we are going to be using this venue. And that's also why you had to go and see this place. How is it looking like?
Yeah, and also the venue itself has to be people who have a passion for the public, the Kenyan public, not just wanting something from the people, but wanting to host them and make them comfortable and to work with us. Like if we tell you we don't think these washrooms are enough, you must be able to provide more. You know, not everybody is capable of that. But thankfully, I really do thank God. I think I'm just lucky. I've never had... yes, I've never had worked with anybody who was too difficult to work with. I believe, and I keep telling them, also when the people, on the D-Day when the people come, the Sundowner fans are in a league of their own. You will never have any skirmishes. You will never hear somebody screaming because they've had one too many. You will never see people quarreling. So it's a mature kind of people. And that's why they deserve the best. Yes.
Matured kind of people.
Oh, yes.
That's why you say that this is kind of music or mature event.
And when I
say
people. Mature, I don't mean old. No. We have 20-year-olds.
Exactly.
If you go to the Sundowner group on Facebook, the majority of members in that platform that has 335,000 people, the majority, the highest bar is for people who are between 24 and 35 years.
How does that make you feel, just seeing the young folk, you know, embracing this kind of style of music, oldies?
I think I know why.
Okay.
Like he said, he listened to Sundowner.
Growing up.
Why?
Growing up,
Because his parents were listening. Same thing to me and maybe to you and every other person. So this is a show that has been inherited from one generation to another. We are actually inducted into the club by our own parents, you know. So there's all ages here. We are not talking about old people. No, it is people who love music with substance. And those people could be 15-year-olds. Yes. One time we had an event at Uhuru Gardens, and so some people came in front from the crowd and they were gifted with t-shirts and they danced. And so as they were dancing, because I'm up the stage hosting the show, I see one girl who was wearing a very oversized t-shirt, a Sundowner branded t-shirt, but it was so big on her, the sleeves were like long sleeves. So I sought to know later on, because I understand maybe the t-shirts are finished and that is the only t-shirt she could get.
And she likes it.
It really warmed my heart. I sought to find out who that girl was, and I found out she was a 16-year-old. Dancing to that Kenny Rogers music and feeling so good about it. And I think I wanted to get her a t-shirt that fits her. I don't remember whether I did or I didn't, but I still would like to make it up to her. Yes.
And this was a 16-year-old.
Yes.
So the way you're saying that this is not music for oldies, old people,
she was actually with the mom.
67, it's just music for people that love substance, people that appreciate content and the work that went into creating the kind of content or music that you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, Jay, when you listen to Catherine saying that ideally this is what informs her idea of picking a venue, things have to be as per the audience, because audience are key. They are the most important persons at the end of the day, even if this event has to become successful. Did you feel any pressure from some of the things she was actually saying? Toilets have to be in check.
Yes. It was very critical. See, now the clientele that is coming there, she was very critical. She was like, this has to be here, I have to be here, you have to do this. So you have to take that into notes. Like you have to do what she wants because she knows her clientele more better than we do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we had to go with her bookmarks. This has to be here. The toilet should be there, not here. Yeah, so the stage should be like this, not like that. So I think we're in the same book, because she came and saw the venue. We marked the locations. It's going to be a very cool event, like literally very good event. This will be an experience, actually. This will be an experience. It has never happened. This will be an experience. Yeah.
It's quite interesting here. You say it has never happened, yet we know that there has been.
But this will be an experience.
In the bush.
This is in the bush, yeah.
Is it the first time you're hosting such kind of an event?
No,
we
have had a couple of events, very good events.
Then what makes this different for you?
Because it's Sundowners.
Okay.
Yeah,
they've had other kinds of events with other kinds of audience.
Yeah.
But not this kind.
This is a very unique event. This is a unique on its own. It's an event on its own. It's very unique. That's why I'm saying it's an experience. Guys will come and experience. We're going to be selling them experience. And Sundowner is quite big. So Sundowner at the park. Sunset.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's why you call yourself J the Park.
J the Park,
You said we won't use your ID name, we'll use J the Park.
I actually noted with, it was really nice when I noted that the way they refer to themselves, the park in the park. Because their establishment, the place is called the park. But it is within a park
and
because it's in the bush.
He's adopted the name. They decided they won't use his name.
No, it's J the Park.
Like you said, we are really excited because it's been a whole 2.5 years of no events. And I'm telling you, I've been under pressure. I don't think I've ever been under such pressure in my life on radio and with this event, because now it's been so long, and everybody, anytime I played a song that reminded the listeners of, because there are those signature songs that must be played at the event, the fans will always ask for them, and then Sir Elvis will play them. And whenever I play that song on my show, even if it is on Christmas Day, I get the question, so when is the next Sundowner Sunset date? And I'm like, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I mean, I have to keep hope alive. But I do thank God that we've come this far, that we can even talk about an event. It was looking very, very dark, and we didn't have hope. Nobody knew where we were going with this COVID. But at least now we can say, and I told the people, it's good to step out of town a little, breathe some fresh air. We've been closed in our houses for so long, especially because of that COVID. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't even go to the shop because we are afraid. But now we can breathe and we can step out a little. Kitengela is not far. I was there 2 days ago. It's not far and it's accessible. It's just right on your way to Namanga, on the Nairobi-Namanga road, and you branch off, it's just 800 meters and you're there.
Speaking of Kitengela, as we now wind down, I'd just like to get from you, Kate, yes, it's in Kitengela, but talk to us about the logistics bit, also the timing, when it's going to be happening and all that.
Yeah, very important, the program of the day. Actually, I've been calling this, we've not talked about this, but this is a Sundowner Sunset date with a difference. Since I started this event, no matter how much pressure I've had, I've never been able to host the show with one John Obongo Jr. Now, John Obongo Jr. started doing this show before, I think when I was 2 years old.
Wow. And you've done it for 25 years.
Yes. So I'm so privileged that this time round, I've been able to convince John, because people have always asked me, you do the show Monday to Thursday, then the weekend man comes in and does Friday to Sunday. If the two of you sat in studio one day and just hosted a show, the two of you, we imagine how it would be. Now, we've never done that. We are doing that for the first time on Saturday. So it's the grand collabo, the grand collaboration. I think it will go down in my history as the peak of my hosting Sundowner. The other thing is that we also have somebody who's a big name in this station, the one and only John Karani, the one we used to enjoy his beat time. When I was in high school, I couldn't miss beat time by John Karani. Now John Karani is bringing beat time to the ground. Before Sundowner starts, from 3 to 5, it's going to be the 80s and 90s soul, dancehall kings and queens, everything. So this is not an event you can even think of missing, because it's different. It's a day, you know, that is going to be so special. We can only hope it happens again. So, and we are charging, you know, bei ya mwananchi. I've always insisted 500 for Sundowner fans. We never used to charge for this event, but you see, things have to be taken care of. Budgets have to be sorted. So it's 500 bob at the gate. And when I went to the park, we went down Nairobi Namanga Road. When you get to where you're supposed to branch, just in case you're not driving or you're using a matatu, oh, there are some brothers there who are well known to Jay here, well branded by the park.
The park,
the next governor of the bush. So it's a place you will jump on a motorbike and be there in 2 minutes. If you don't feel like walking. If you like walking, you can walk. So I went there, I saw it myself. I can't leave anything to chance. I have to make sure I've seen. I can't believe what anybody is telling me. But now I can tell them I've seen, and you will be safe if you want to come to that place.
Time?
Ample parking. Okay, Sundowner, sometimes I'm told these fans of yours are on steroids. You know, they're too hype. You tell them to come at 2, they come at 10.
Waiting.
You know? So if you're traveling from far and you find you've arrived too early, you're welcome to the park. You can come, have something to drink or to eat as you wait. But ideally by 1, we expect people to start streaming in. Because the park will be sounding like our own station, the KBC English service.
Well said. And I have to give you the last word, Jay, even as you're finishing up. What should the audience expect, very quickly?
A very good experience. Very good experience. Our Choma is the Maasai way. It's the Maasai way. You need to come experience also that one. That one. We are the only ones who do that one. I think a very good experience. This will be an event to remember. One for the books. We guarantee you that.
A good place to end it.
Yes.
Good experience is what you're promising.
Good experience. That is what you're.
And everything nice.
Everything
good vibes and everything nice.
Good vibes.
Good job. Okay, so I have been speaking to Jay the Park, as he calls himself, who's director at the park, as well as Catherine Ndonye, who's a host here at KBC English Service. That is the Sundowner show. And of course, talking to us about the event that is going down this Saturday at the park in Kitengela. As they've said, good experience is what they're promising you, so do not miss it for anything. And even as we bring this first segment to a close, I leave you with Gambler. Enjoy.